that they're learning every time they watch film. It's so important for high school players, college players, pro players, heck, even middle school players. If you can start to understand these concepts and different things you're trying to execute, then you can learn from it. We're going to start. Indiana really likes this empty side. They're what they do is they empty the side, and then they use that inverted screen. So now Matherin's attacking this open side, and puts the defense in an awkward spot. Who helps? Who doesn't help? Is it a Hartenstein who was the screener? Who should help? Indiana's going to continue to run these types of open side drags or pistols inverted, and just see how OKC, I don't think they do a great job defending it. And here's a little basketball one. This is what you don't want. See how Matherin's right foot is behind. He wants to get that right foot over Hartenstein. He doesn't want to get clocked on that screen. That's not an offensive foul. Hartenstein was standing there. Now Bryant's basically in a switch. It's just way too easy. That's just bad ball screen defense. You want to try to blow up that screen. So instead of you getting blown up, Matherin should be left arm on his hip, pushing him to half court. Instead, he has no contact. If anything, he should be sliding over this and chasing Williams on his hip here. Get that right foot over Hartenstein, which is it's not an easy thing to do. I'm going to be honest with you. I was not very good at this when I was a pro player for 13 years. Getting over screens, especially screens that happen in transition, typically in a high screen, I'm reading where I am on the court. As a point guard, if I'm at 40 feet, unless I'm guarding Steph Curry or one of the best shooters in the world, I'm probably going under the screen. Instead, Matherin tries to flop, doesn't get it. In this film breakdown, we're going to look at what Indiana can do better, what they can do here in the fourth quarter, what they didn't do well. Turnover. This is just a full deny on the lob, leading to an easy bucket. He's up 15. You're thinking this game is probably in the bag, but now let's see what Indiana does to get back in this game and just break down some of the key plays. All right, first of all, the emotion, the intensity. This is what I miss in the NBA regular season. Spread out the games. Let guys play harder. It's a better product. It's a better game for all the fans. 3 to 4 games in a week. There's no way I could have done that. People need to spend millions of dollars on recovery, LeBron, but they still have to be so selective about their energy output. It just makes sense to spread the season out, have a little bit longer season. I don't know what they can do. I just product way better when there's emotion and intensity, and we shouldn't have to wait for freaking 7 months before people start playing hard in the NBA. This play, all right, Toppin's pressuring the ball. He does a quick in-out move, and then he's veering into him. See this right shoulder? Rather than going in this straight line penetration, he goes in this V. He starts, and then he goes in, and then he's going to finish out. And that's a really good play by Caruso, experienced play. Just taking a bigger guard and using your body to get to the rim. Indiana does this pistol action a lot. This is where you're throwing it up to Toppin, and then Toppin has the option. He can pitch it back, or he can dribble right over into a dribble handoff. If Wallace goes under, they can turn it right back around and re-screen and get downhill. But right now, he's pitching it up, and then he's just coming back and getting that and attacking. Boom. This is why you play off 2 feet. Indiana has to do a better job of this. If you got 3 players sucked onto you, you did your job. Guards out there, bigs, doesn't matter what everybody is. You don't want to be a black hole and now shoot this. Nemhart's a really smart player. What makes him so valuable? He's basically a combo guard that is a point guard. He can read, he can understand kickouts and weak side finding the open player. It's just a great shot. Indiana's got to do a better job of finding weak side shooters. Toppin's going to have to also play well again. He shot really well. Bryant had some open threes in this game. I really like how they flow into these dribble handoffs. Again, so what's happening here is you're going to see this little pitch handoff. Now you have Wallace going under the screen. That's Wiggins, or who? That's Wiggins. So he goes under, and then Haliburton comes right back and uses the screen. And what we have now is this, who's helping here? Typically in playing in Europe, you'd always have this, Haliburton's coming to the strong side. you'd have Williams here, Caruso kind of playing in this high 1-3-1, putting his hands up over his head to make this pass a lob pass. Because if Hartenstein has to tag here, this is an easy lift, boom, easy direct pass. Like Haliburton's literally just going to snap this ball to him. So Hartenstein's in a tough spot. He can stunt a little bit, but he has to get back on his shooter, and I think that's an important piece. And you just see right there, boom, yuck up, cotton candy. I think this is one thing that Indiana has to do. OKC has to clean up, and I think if Toppin's shooting like this, they have a chance. If they're getting these knockdown threes and closeouts, OKC obviously doesn't want to give it up. We're kind of in a zipper into a ball screen, and now what you have here is a top block, right? So Dort is kind of top blocking Haliburton from using this screen. So this is an immediate read. Now Haliburton is just going to push him into Holmgren because Holmgren was the helper on that screen. So now Holmgren's out of position. So now he's setting this flare screen. So if you're ever getting immediate switches or you're getting top blocked and they're just playing really physical, you just basically linebacker push your man into the guy that was screening for you. He flares, and now you have this shit. Now you have Holmgren closing out. You have Turner with a ton of leverage. Leverage is when you have guys running at you. It's way easier to drive and penetrate when you have, doesn't matter how athletic you are, if you have to sprint at a shooter, it is just an easier game, to do this. Now he has all the space in the world. He could have kept driving, but he said, you know what? Yeah, cup off the glass. All right, so I think it's just important that Indiana keeps finding ways to get leverage for their shooters. I really like this action. What you're going to see here is Turner. He's just surveying. All right, he's going to slow down. It's kind of like this broken transition through, and then he's going to invert. Kind of see how he goes through with his right hand, but he pushes off his left foot and does that little skip and slide. And then SGA thinks he's going to shoot it. SGA rises, and now Haliburton's into this automatic drive. And I think it helps, to be 6'6". It's what makes Haliburton such a unique point guard, in my opinion, is he can use his length to not only pass and create, but to get his shot off. So really important footwork. And this is what I love. Nembhard picking up, Nesmith up. Somebody should be picking up here. I think Indiana's got to continue to put the pressure on, use 10 guys, use their fouls wisely. Here you're going to have Caruso coming up into this ball screen. And what Indiana needs to do better is these quick hedges, where Nembhard's, it's going to be a high ball screen. Nembhard's going to go under. Pascal's got to stay connected to his hip. He shouldn't let Caruso get any separation here, and his foot should be at the level of the screen. So as he's going into this, come on, YouTube. See where his right foot is? All right, his right foot should be right behind Caruso's. So then as Nembhard's kind of forcing SGA sideline, all right, now his foot would be here, his left foot would be out. You're either going to take a charge on this, and SGA is going to have to go around. So what Pascal does is just kind of late. So now he's just going to get split. And I think Indiana has to do a much better job of not getting split in these games, because they got split so many times. You either have to be more connected on that screen. And I love this action, just kind of a drive and kick and pitch. Again, Obi Toppin taking two players out, and Nesmith kind of in that hop. He catches it on the hop. His hips are loaded. His hands are ready to shoot. Cotton candy. All right. Now we're getting down to the last 3 minutes. We're at a 9-point game. Now it's 6-point game. And I think, again, Indiana's got to bring the pressure. They need to keep tiring SJ out. This is basically just, 2 minutes to go. I think coaches sometimes, if a player's got it going or he's feeling it, they just let him play one-on-one. And I think this is exactly what through cross. Come on, YouTube, stay with me. He's going to go through cross. He's going to go right foot, left foot, right foot. See how his feet are replacing? Now SGA is kind of recovering in that trying to close back out, and he's going to push back off that right foot into that shot. And I think that's, that's really tough footwork. It's kind of that foot replacement footwork that you can get away with in the NBA. I don't know if you can get away with that in college, but this is the NBA, so you can get away with it. I mean, this is just a great pass. So one thing I think Indiana has to do a good job of here. Pascal can rotate middle earlier, so he's basically blocking this, this weak side rotation. He stays, and I think he needs to either fill here or just give that angle here. All right, and Nembhard needs to pump fake here. Okay, give himself an opportunity to get a foul. I mean, this is just great defense. What do you see here if you pump fake? Well, you got this kick out. Toppin should rotate. Pascal should have been moving in here or more short corner. And I think instead they got to make better reads. They got to play off 2 feet, pump fake. And then you get an SGA. This is what they can't have, kind of this SGA in transition, who is now, he's going to play off 2 feet. He hits at his right foot. Watch his feet. Now he's in that pro hop kind of, so he bumps into that pro hop, and he's going to finish with his inside right hand high on the glass. And I think for a lot of young players, working on different finishes, but also working on where you're finishing, in your drill work. Are you always just finishing under the square? I mean, look at this shot. The ball is above the square. The amount of finesse it takes to get that thing up above the square on this shot is just amazing. So I think anytime you're practicing, Kyrie does this, a lot of I think any pro guard, they have such a finishing package, a layup package, where when they're practicing, you should be able to make 5 layups in a row off the high glass. It should not finish underneath the square. So I think working on that is good. Again, I think, so they're kind of in this drop. Nembhard's on his hip. I think this is pretty good until, well, actually it's not very good. What am I talking about? Because they gave up direct line penetration. So Haliburton kind of goes into this pre-hedge, which is good. Right now his foot should be behind Wallace's, but still connected at the hip. And then he kind of changes his mind and goes into this drop. All right, but now he's in a tough spot because he's got Wallace. He's got to recover to. Nembhard's not in front. If anything, this is just a tough one because your guard is in a drop and they're not switching. All right, again, he just goes in and jumps. And I think if SGA did a much better job in game 2 of playing under control, and this is why you play under control. You got Caruso in this dunker spot. You have Dort should be here lifting, right? You have Wallace behind for the release valve. And I think right now this is a contested shot, which is still pretty amazing defense. But, you had Dort who was out for an easy kick out, and now they're pushing and running. All right, so this is an example of Nembhard over dribbling, but they're letting him play one-on-one again. He's in his bag. He's doing the same footwork, that kind of push off with his right foot replacement, step back. He misses. Right? But I think one thing that if you're a big and you haven't got the ball, don't wait for a rebound. I think this is my problem with pro-am, street ball. You have 1, 2, 3. You have 5 guys and 5 out. Who's going to go rebound on kind of this ISO? Typically, in bad basketball, no one. But I think this is what I love about Pascal. He sees an opportunity. SGA doesn't block him out. He goes and chases it down. Easy hoop. That's a big one. That's experience pays. It's great, D. They get a stop. Oh, yeah, this is a big call right here. Definitely OKC's ball, in my opinion. No foul. Just good hustle. Okay, we got a 1-point game. Let's watch this defense here. I mean, just look how chill SGA is here. This is just if YouTube could keep up with my amazing film breakdown, it'd be great. So he kind of goes into that little hip swivel. Nembhard stays in front, bump, chest. Look at that, chest in there. Neesmith is stunting, putting a hand in. I mean, the fact that he still created that much separation on that, he made him work for that shot. I think that's the best you could do, and that's what makes SGA so good. All right, now we're just coming down to the last shot. But I mean, as you could see, all the possessions before this, Indiana really they knocked down shots. They got leverage on closeouts, and that just sets up, opportunities like this now where you just get to your spot. I think this is one thing I'd like to say about guards. They say shoot the same shot, but this is Haliburton's mid-range shot. Look at how much he elevates on this shot. He kind of gets into that 2 foot quick hop footwork. He doesn't jump this high normally on his threes, so his mid-range game's a little bit different. I think elite guards, they can elevate a little bit higher on their mid-range, and then if they move out to the three-point line, maybe they have a set shot like Haliburton does or Steph Curry. Some of these guys they just let their mechanics work for them from the three-point line, and they don't jump as high. And I think, that's what happened right here, and he knocked down the big shot. So anyway, lowest budget film breakdown in the world coming at you. Hope you got some value out of it. Please, I appreciate you guys leaving the comments, remarks to help me improve. I hope if you're a young basketball player, you can keep learning. If you need me to slow down, sometimes I can go over stuff too fast. But feel free to ask questions and let me know what else to improve upon. All right, this is the film breakdown with HB. You guys have a great day.